Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. We have a lot to talk about. We'll start with what's going on in Kherson because this is easily the biggest thing that's happened. It seems like in the past 2 days, Ukraine conducted a raid into the city of Kozhachi-Lahiri in order to push the Russian positions back. We didn't know why they wanted to do that at first, but it's become clear now because they've established a bridgehead cutting the road between Oleshki and Kozhachi-Lahiri. I did not think Ukraine was going to try to develop a bridgehead across here, but it seems like that's what their plan is right now. Another good thing about establishing the bridgehead here is it obviously cuts this road, but it also puts the road south of the settlement in fire control, as well as Ukraine already having fire control over this one because of their higher positions on the other bank of the river. This means that supply to this settlement is going to become increasingly difficult as it goes on. There have been some claims that Ukraine is halfway inside of this settlement, but I wouldn't take them to be true. And as you see right here, this means that this is the first sizable area where the Tonka River has been completely breached. This is important because even though Ukraine has a decent bridgehead in front of Oleshki, the Konka River is preventing them from really getting an offensive going because it makes it way more inconvenient to ferry across two rivers in one area. The part that they crossed out and can expand into is probably the easiest spot to ferry across the river. Both rivers are pretty small here. When Russia was setting up their fortifications along this side of the river, Hola Pristan, Oleshki, and Nova Kakhovka were the main areas that they fortified, but this was sort of one of their blind spots, this area by Kozhachi-Lahiri. I think the goal from here, with the recent advances by Oleshki, may be to attempt to open up a second vector of attack in the direction of Oleshki, which the Russians are definitely not prepared for. They've been ferrying across light infantry and stuff all day, building up a force here. It seems like they may be trying to clear out the Russian positions on the at least along the river. They're not going to be able to supply a massive offensive in this region, but the difference is having a bridgehead attacking Oleshki here is inconvenient for the Russians, and they will have to move some troops away from the south to move there. But having multiple settlements and a large force across there is going to require even more troops to come over. It's basically going to be a thing of let Ukraine capture all the settlements in the area or move more and more troops over to stop it. So either way, this is going to affect Russia's reserves in the area. That's what we got right here. I think we're gonna have to give this about a week or so to see it develop, but right now it's looking pretty good. Next area I want to talk about is Urozhaine and the Velika Novosilka axis. I actually made this map earlier in the day and this looks confusing. Yesterday, it was confirmed that Ukraine entered the northern area and successfully cleared it, but now multiple Russian sources have said that they've left Urozhaine and retreated back to Staromlynivka. This is very important because the Russians were effectively sacrificing men to stay in this settlement longer for more time to develop fortification. It seems like the Russians have left the settlement, but the Ukrainians haven't raised the flag over it yet. It seems like it still needs to be cleared, and by the time that the Russians had left, it was already night. This is important because even after Urozhaine, this is a major weak point in Russian fortifications. I've noticed it on the map. This area is very sparse. This is the main Russian fortification line in this area. Now that the Ukrainians don't have to worry about crossfire from Urozhaine, they can move south into the areas by Kreminna. This is probably going to become one of the next important settlements that they have to liberate. Novodonetsk has been sort of a hard settlement to take, but if Kreminna is taken, then Novodonetsk will have to retreat because there's no road between Novomayorsk and Novodonetsk. This is where the problems start because if they make it past here, Novopetrivka is a weak spot in the defense, where if they breach the settlement, they'll be behind this part of the defense line, which will make Staromlynivka have to retreat in pretty much everywhere, and this could lead to a really big hole open that goes straight to Mariupol. A Russian Telegram source commented on Ukraine's tactic inside of Urozhaine, which worked really well. Using my very crude drawing skills, I'll try to explain Ukraine's strategy in here that worked really well. The Ukrainians would slowly move into an area to draw out the Russian forces, and once they engaged into fighting with them, they'd pull back and then let the artillery fire on the Russians, and then they'd blow up, which would make them retreat, and then the Ukrainians would move into the abandoned positions. This worked really well, and it pushed the Russians out of the settlement. Also, this is a cannon. This is a cannon. This is not anything else. This is not. All right, and that's all I got for you guys today. I hope this video was good. I felt good. I'm just feeling lofty. I'm floating. All right, see you guys later.